I'm a very happy man.
We're very happy too.
The chamber of the Galactic Senate had not been this loud since the fall of the Eridani Confederacy. From the high domes hung banners of 1,000-star nations, each glowing with its sigil, until the sound of "Order, order!" boomed through the air. At the center, under the imperial insignia, sat Emperor Zarthar the Magnificent, ruler of 900 worlds, his tendrils coiling in visible agitation. Before him stood a single being, tall, flesh-colored, plain-faced, and hair sprouting from his chin. A human. "Explain yourself," thundered the Emperor. "Explain how one of your primitive species has defiled not one, but all three of my daughters." The human's name was Daniel Ward. Daniel Ward, formerly of Earth's Terran Reconstruction Corps, had been stationed as a mechanic on the orbital yards above Zarthan Prime. Humans, though technically members of the Galactic Compact, were seen as oddities, tough, emotional, disturbingly fertile, and biologically reckless. When an explosion crippled the Imperial pleasure barge, Daniel had been the only survivor in proximity with a functioning atmospheric suit. He'd saved all three Imperial daughters, Princess Vila, Princess Nara, and Princess Krishka, from decompression. For a time, he'd been a hero. Until last month. Now, the holo screamed. Human seed corrupts royal bloodline. Empress dies again of embarrassment. TRI royal expecting. A scandal in 3 acts. The daughters no one wanted. To understand the uproar, one must understand the daughters. Each was considered undesirable by the impossible aesthetic standards of their race. Vila, the eldest, had skin that shimmered dull gray instead of royal blue. Nara's head crest grew unevenly, curling left instead of right. Krishka, the youngest, had only 2 eyes instead of the usual 4. They had been politely ignored by every suitor across the empire. The emperor had long despaired that none would ever marry or even court them, until Daniel Ward arrived. The rescue. He had known who they were when he found them in the wreckage. He'd only seen 3 terrified women suffocating. He'd torn off his own oxygen lines to share between them. He'd dragged them into a decompression pod, his blood freezing from microleaks in his suit. He'd lost 2 fingers to frostbite. When the rescue crew arrived, Daniel was unconscious, wrapped around the 3 princesses like a shield. To them, it had been beautiful. To the Empire, it had been inexplicable. The courtship that wasn't. After recovery, the 3 daughters began visiting him in the mechanics bay. Vila would bring him food from the royal kitchens. Nara would tinker beside him, fascinated by human machines. Krishka, quiet, awkward Krishka, would just sit and listen to him hum. He had no idea they were competing. He'd thought they were just friends. And when humans comfort friends, they hug, they touch shoulders, they smile. On Zarthan Prime, touch was equivalent to a marriage vow. 3 sisters, 3 misunderstandings, 3 unions. And now 3 heirs gestating hybrid embryos. The Senate demands blood. Your Majesty, spoke Senator Vorthak, his mouth tentacles quivering, the human must be punished. This contamination threatens the imperial gene lattice. The ancient bloodlines will be polluted beyond recognition. The chamber erupted in agreement. Exile him. Vaporize the contaminant. Purge the offspring before they spawn. Only one voice disagreed. A small, tired voice from the royal dais. Krishka stood, trembling but resolute. Her 2 eyes gleamed like stars. "Father," she said, "he saved our lives. He treated us as people, not politics. You speak of pollution, yet he is the only one who looked at me and did not flinch." The emperor stiffened. "You are blinded by primitive pheromones." "Perhaps," she said softly, But I am also carrying the future of 2 species. The genetic revelation. Weeks later, the Imperial Science Council reluctantly analyzed the embryos. The results shocked the Empire more than the scandal itself. The human DNA wasn't corrupting the royal line, it was stabilizing it. For centuries, the starborn line had been degrading, each generation less powerful, more fragile, more sterile. The hybrid embryos showed enhanced immune function, rapid cellular regeneration, and unprecedented cognitive harmony between hemispheres. In short, the hybrids were perfect. The Emperor's rage turns to calculation. Emperor Zarthar sat alone in his private chamber that night, reviewing the genetic readouts. His mind churned. A scandal could be erased, but extinction could not. The Star Empire had fought 1,000 wars to preserve its dominance, yet within, its royal line was collapsing. And this human had restored what 10,000 genetic engineers could not. He summoned Daniel. The confrontation. Daniel stood before the Emperor in ceremonial chains. "You understand," Zarthar said slowly, "that by our laws, what you have done merits death." Daniel met his gaze. "I didn't plan any of it. I just did what seemed right. 3 daughters. 3 heirs. Accidental, you say?" He shrugged helplessly. "Your Highness, where I come from, we don't measure love by biology or rank. I didn't even know touch was a proposal." The Emperor's eyes flickered. "Humans," he muttered, "always rewriting the rules of the universe, without meaning to." The turning point. The Senate expected an execution. Instead, the Emperor shocked them all. He announced a new title, Royal Genetic Consort of the Star Line. Daniel Ward was not to be executed, but elevated. The chamber went silent. "The humans' actions," declared Zarthar, "have ensured the continuation of our dynasty. The blood of the Star Empire will not end in sterility, but shine anew. Let the galaxy bear witness." And so, for the first time in history, a Terran was written into the Imperial Charter. The Galactic Reaction. Across the stars, reactions ranged from disbelief to fury to awe. Some called it heresy. Others called it destiny. On human colonies, memes exploded overnight. Earthling impregnates empire into peace. Diplomacy achieved, one awkward hug at a time. But beneath the laughter, something else stirred fear. If one human could change the genetic destiny of an empire, what else could humanity do? The daughter's choice. Months later, as the hybrid heirs grew, the 3 princesses ruled their own provinces. Vila, diplomat, radiant and proud. Nara, engineer, designing new ships with human-inspired hulls. Krishka, philosopher, studying what it meant to be beautiful. Daniel lived between them, traveling as needed, raising his children. He never sought power, but everywhere he went people bowed. They called him father of the new line. The Senate's final shock. Years later, during the Tricoronation, the Galactic Senate once again assembled. The Emperor, now frail but smiling, presented his grandchildren, 3 luminous beings, each with the eyes of a human and the glow of a starborn. As the anthem played, a senator whispered to another, "Who would have thought the ugliest daughters would bear the galaxy's future?" Daniel overheard. He smiled quietly. "They were never ugly," he said. "You all just lacked the eyes to see." The chamber fell silent. Even the Emperor lowered his gaze in shame. Epilogue. The Age of the Hybrids. A century later, historians would call it the Gentle Conquest.